What is your real name?
Winston, yeah. Winston, yeah.
Winston, yeah.
Okay, upon your job or all the work that you put in this specific model, which are the parts which are classic and which are the parts that you would consider more modern, and overall, from which kind of point of view we can like define the whole model?
The whole idea is, well, like he said, blend the classic to the modern process. And it's always been one of the main line of what Rockcraft is all about. So for this model, I try to take the inspiration from endurance racer, and I take the line from the endurance racer, but tweaks the proportion of it. So it's more like a modern motorcycle, which have a smaller tail section, smaller fairing.
Okay.
And the interesting part is, I try to make the fairing as small as possible, because usually the endurance racer have a very big fairing, very big tail, but I want to change the proportion. So I designed this fairing that actually turns with the steering, but if you look at from the side, the line actually continues from the tank extension to the fairing, and then use a gold leaf line that continue that line better. So. And also with the carbon fiber wheels, Behringer brake, SE project exhaust, all the high-tech race bike components to achieve the whole overall look, but with a vintage, nostalgic line of it. Royal Enfield spent a lot of time to design a beautiful engine, especially that crankcase is a piece of art, so I really want to emphasize that with the curve of the exhaust pipe, and also I cover the top half of the engine so we can really highlight the crankcase. It's to complete the picture.
The tricky part of the question is, or the interview, is understanding if your aim was more driven, your work was more driven by the aesthetic point of view, because that was your interest, or the functionality of it?
I think it's a combination of both.
Okay.
I try to find the balance between form over function or function over form.
Okay.
So. And I'm lucky that I know all these great companies that make the best components in the world. But I also still want the shape and the style to be the most important thing. So even when I use all this racy component, I tune it down, like color, make it black or something. So it's subtle, but it also helps the quality of the finished design.
All right, and just one more detail to clarify the answer would be, so if you had to define yourself, would you be more driven by the aesthetic, or when you're making this?
In choosing the components, you prefer the aesthetic or the technical part?
I always believe that anything that is built purely for speed or performance is always beautiful, but it always comes back to the overall design. But this one is designed for like a racer, which is twist the modern and the vintage of it. So it's a no compromise. But sometimes if I build something that is really like vintage driven, I can also use not as performance part, but it all depends on the whole direction of the fun.
Do you drive?
Yes, I do.
What kind of bike do you prefer?
I like any kind of bike, but I don't really good at racetrack, so I don't ride race bike. But other than that, I like all kinds of bike, all kinds of riding. It's every style bike have a purpose of why it's built. So for me, they are all interesting, and I really like to study and understand and enjoy all kinds of bike.
Why don't you come in Naples?
Well, I want to come anytime. Let me know.
To eat a pizza with us?
Yeah, of course.
And with Moto Design Customs?
Sure.
Ciao.